Well, I'm sorry to let everyone know that Dominic contacted me moments before the meeting to say that he's unwell and actually lost his voice, so unable to join us. So we're obviously disappointed and wish him a speedy recovery, but the show must go on. And the only person I know who's able to step in at less than an hour's notice to say a few words on a topic and give a slide presentation is Dave Nelson, who is familiar with the book. So, Dave, thank you so much. At least you'll be able to give us an idea of what Dominic, who I've let him know this, and he's very grateful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Susan. Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Can everybody see that? Just want to make sure since this was like a tight timeline. Good. Okay, so I usually kind of look into the speakers beforehand. So I did have some knowledge of Dominic before. Plus, it exemplifies what I'm trying to do locally by building these local support systems. Social identity and shaping how we believe and what we behave, I think, is something that we need to understand in the context of planetary health. It's not that the climate is shifting in a sense, it's that we're behaving poorly and our group identities have been fractured with each other and global trust has been eroded. And so I think we all know that here, but we need to talk about what we believe, how we behave, and whom we trust. And we are lucky to have Dominic's decades research here. So one of his key pieces is identity over information. So one of the reasons people don't change their mind is facts alone don't persuade people. So there's actually research to show that in the face of very strong facts that this is red, people will actually double down on their original position. They adopt origins that align with the groups that they value or the things that connect with what they already believe. So if it's too traumatic for them, they can't adopt it. And also when a belief conflicts with a group stance. So they often reject evidence because remember, in a sense, if you weren't part of the group in the historical past, it was lonely and difficult to survive in the environment. And values drive change. So I want to be messages that resonate with existing values are surprising motivators of change. And the fluid group boundaries we're seeing all over the place now. So for example, in U.S. politics, you never thought that you would see libertarians and conservatives voting on the same ticket, and now you see that these identities necessarily aren't fixed, and people can shift rapidly on where they feel they belong, as long as they find common ground. And common ground can be a number of different things. It could be a healthy food strategy, it could be an energy policy, it could be a social security policy. And then people build new connections. And this is actually, if you study complexity theory, this is the reorganization of relationships. That's how those new connections happen. So and then we need to look at another core theme from the book is the art of moral reframing. So value identification is very important. What matters to audiences, instead of bringing your value system to the audience, we need to have a cooperation between value systems. And then we need to have common Venn overlapping of those things. So that's called creating a connected set. It's how we connect the set so that we can both utilize pieces of those sets for a common purpose. Reframe the message. Language is powerful, and we need to reframe things in the way that identify with core belief systems. And I think that you all know what that means. Just a message alone, if it's framed to moms versus something else, that resonates. It's called segmentation, categorization, and then it's real to me because it intersects with my lived experience, which is something that keeps coming back as a very important narrative in at least medicine, if not mental health across the board. We need to create common ground, like I mentioned before. And then that should inspire action for change. When we notice that connected set, when we're connected, then we can build on some tools because we know how to interact with one another. So I also wanted to say that there's some counterintuitive or some surprising findings that Dominic and social psychology have found in this. Identity can shift rapidly. So even if you have a deeply held political loyalty, it can change in a few shared interactions. And this actually contradicts our belief. But if you study complexity science again, then you know that in self-organization, you go to this edge of criticality, and one small thing can change the entire perspective of what you believe in your worldview. And that would, for example, maybe someone who might be an atheist has a certain type of experience, and all of a sudden they're spiritual, and it changes their entire worldview. Values over facts. People want to know what you value. What is it that brings you to the table of connection? What gets you up in the morning? What gets you excited and exuberant for life? How do you want to evoke change? And then that idea of positive tribalism, us versus them thinking can actually enhance community thinking. That's in-group thinking, but it's meant to charge that piece that needs the help, right? It's that emergent part. It's not social separation, but it's when communities rally around a shared idea, local gardens, for example. That in-group thinking be a powerful motivator of change because you know somebody's got your back. Somebody's going to go look after your tomatoes, say, if you can't make it. So applications to planetary health, we need to build a collective identity of caretakers of us and Earth. I think that's one of the things, understanding that we're right in nature and we have to be part of the process of nature's ecosystem and care. We need collective action. It's not going to work. 1 + 1 is 3 here. We have to have collective action. Value alignments mean that that collective action is going to be seen in a lens where we can work together in an emotionally regulated manner with one another, where the ontologies aren't as important as the right action, as Amartya Sen, a Nobel Prize winner of economics. He said, we worry too much about the ontologies and not enough about the common ground of right action. So value alignment happens that, and then foster that grassroots community building of in-group. So that's also helpful. So to reflect, what communities do we belong that care about whole health and planetary health as a connected set? So we can get both of those going. How can we connect planetary health to a community's core beliefs? And how do we align with whole health? And then how do we build collective will? Which is, I just wanted a shout out as I do my thank you to say Brian and Susan and the group here at Nova is helping us to become, in quantum mechanics, super radiant, to create collective will so that we can all shine brighter. And that's the power of us from Dominic's book, at least the way I see it. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Dave. I mean, it's really incredible what you could do at short notice, and I think we all appreciate that. So thank you so much.